So this is it, huh? We finally reached the end. Damn. What's up, everyone? It's your boy Scott. Welcome to the Scott Reports. Today we're here to talk about Darling and Franxx episode 24. The end is finally here. And we knew he wasn't going to be ready. We already knew that. And as soon as it got here, those feelings just started to well up once again because I was not ready to let this series go, guys. I wasn't. And this episode, you know, people are out there hoping for a season 2. There's some things out there that people are going to reach for to still make that possible, and things that I don't disagree with, but I don't think there's a need. I don't think there's a need for a season 2. The way this episode was structured, and the way that everything went down, they put nice little bows on everything so we just can be happy with how it ended up. And I don't know how this video is gonna go, and don't be upset if this video ends up being 20 minutes, because every 3 months, you know, we get to this point where we get to the series that we all love, and we get to the finale, and we get to where we have to make that final video, and it's just fun, especially when it's a high volume series like this. You know, Darling and Franxx, as I've said many times, I was kind of on the fence about it. You know, it was times where I was just gonna watch it just to watch it because it was Trigger, and I ended up enjoying it, and this is gonna be one of my favorite mech series of all time. I can go ahead and say that, and it was all thanks to you guys, because, you know, with busy schedules and, you know, just sometimes just not being up to making videos, it was because of you guys. It was because of your views, it was because of your comments and the surge that I got from this series, that I was here almost every week, even when I stopped, because I looked and these videos were getting 300, 400, 500, 1,000 views. And, you know, once we got to episode 20, it started to fizzle out a little bit. But by then it was at the end, but, you know, it was still some dedicated people here, and it was still one of the highest videos as far as view count that I had for the season. And I thank you guys for that, because this is the end of our journey. Now, of course, if you're just ending for Trigger, we're going to be right back in the fall with SSSS Gridman, or Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad 90 Kids Stand Up, because you know what that is. We're gonna see that. We got another trailer for that this morning. You know, over in Anime Expo, they did show a trailer of Premiere. I don't know if they showed the trailer yet. They just showed some pictures. All I've seen on social media is just pictures of it, and the main character looks like Kamina. So we might actually get like a spiritual successor of him having his own series. So I'm excited for Premiere. Now, I think that's not till 2019. But as far as Darling and Franxx go, this is the end. This is the final journey, and I thank you guys for making this as fun as it was, and to sit here and talk to you guys every week about this series has been absolutely fun. Whether, you know, we went back and forth between if it's better than a certain series, or if we just want to talk about our theories, our love and hate for characters, who we think is our best boy, and everything that had to come with this, because this series has been a roller coaster. I know it was for me, because I was just gonna write it off as a zany fan service, and because it was mech and it was fun, I was just gonna watch it. But I didn't think it was gonna turn out to be the series that it did. And, you know, episode 20, it had an impact. It definitely had an impact, because people went from, you know, just passively watching the series to enjoying it, to absolutely hating it just because of one plot point that they just didn't pay attention to, or they were expecting something different. And I expect to see the same thing with the finale as well, because, you know, it's always going to be the hipsters. It's always going to be the people that just don't want to like something just because it's cool to do, or just so they can leave a negative comment somewhere, or maybe it's something within themselves that feel like they always got to shit in somebody's cornflakes. We're going to say this was lackluster, or it's anticlimactic, but you have to look at it in a certain sense and saying, what else could you have done? What more could you have want from an ending that we got with this series? And it was a good ending. I will go ahead and say it was a good ending. I don't have any structure with this video. We're just gonna talk about how we feel since this is the finale. It was a good ending. You can't say that you enjoyed the ending, and if you do, I'm gonna disagree with you. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. I mean, the series itself has some flaws, but the way that they ended this series, you cannot have any objections by it. And if anything, you know, it does give people hope for another season, but we're absolutely fine if we don't get one. Let's get into the video. Well, we're already into the video. Let's get into some of the stuff that happened in the episode. got a lot of notes, got a lot of things I want to talk about, so it's probably going to be blatant that I'm taking a glance at them, but hey, who cares? Anyway, let's just talk about Hero in Zero 2, because everything else around him was the things I enjoyed the most about the episode, you know, with their quest to stop the Klaxosaur, not the Klaxosaurs, damn it, their quest to stop Vrim, not the Klaxosaurs, you know, being stuck in the warp gate. And Zero 2 said this is a honeymoon. This is a perfect honeymoon. And she was stuck in space for almost what it seemed like an eternity with Hero, and the time just kept going on and on and on. You know, at first it was only 70 days and it moved up to 2 months. We do get a very large time skip. You know, I think overall we got like 8 years, but as they were in this void going one-on-one against Vrim, it was pretty cool. The strain overall just began to become a little bit too much for Hero, because, you know, he was human, and, you know, being merged with Zero 2, she was practically a Klaxosaur. Vrim just straight up said his body can't take that. That's why he became unresponsive, and that caused a little bit of danger for Zero 2. You know, I didn't feel that she was gonna die or anything at that point, but, you know, when she was just there helpless, and when they put the big spear through her body and she was just screaming in agony, man, I did feel a little bit something, because that spear straight up went through her, and if Hero was down there with her, it might have hit him too, so it was a little bit of worry there. But that's just how it is. But overall, with the power of love, the power of compassion, psychic link, and all of that good stuff that you would expect from a finale, they were able to muscle through. They were able to communicate with their friends back on Earth, the whole gang, everybody just putting their hands together and giving their energy, shouting their support and their love, and they were able to vanquish Vrim finally with the classic Ganix pose. Out of all things, going to the default Strelitzia model, taking that spear, standing there like a boss in that gold form with that Ganix pose. And a lot of people give this series a lot of shit because it blatantly pulls so many things with so many anime tropes. But look, anime has been around since way before all of us was born, probably like 60s, 70s, 50s. You go back to stuff like Gigantor. It's kind of hard to not duplicate some of the things that we've seen already. It's hard to do anything different. That's the biggest argument we always have with shonen as well. It's like everybody's always saying that things don't bring anything different, but we're running out of ways to bring things different because so many great things have come beforehand. So people are going to pick this apart because they've seen it before. I see it as a callback. This entire series was a homage to all of the mecha series that came before it and things that it did so well on the human aspect aside of what shines out here. But that was great. That was a great battle to actually see that. It had the right emotions, it had the right feels, and it put a smile on my face because Vrim is gone. You know, Vrim is still out there. You know, they vow to still come back at some point. They was like, okay, let's let these humans have their fun now. We'll just rebuild and come back one day. And it's little nuggets like that that will fuel of season 2, as well as something else that I will get to in a little bit. But that scene, that I guess the final battle between Vrim and, you know, 02 Apis, that was, oh man, I got hyped. I got hyped when I saw that. That, and as far as the whole part with 02 and Hero, besides, you know, them, of course, we already know they love each other, but them being so open and so happy about it and expressing their feelings, that was good too. But to actually see, you know, it go into that gold form and stand there with the pose, that was probably my favorite part of that little scene. And thus the Jian is now a full bird. No longer are they two people with one wing trying to make their way through. They were able to fuse together, become that bird with one wing, soar off into the sunset, however you want to look at that, and just etch their ways into the history books as they were the saviors, the one that made everything possible for everybody below. So now we can finally get down to that, because my favorite was everything else that was going on. Again, we did get the time skip that we were hoping for. Things did feel a little bit rushed, but what were we going to do? We already knew we had 4 episodes left at this point. When Vrim said we'll be back, I expected the time jump there, but we ended up getting it all in this episode. We got it in increments. We saw things going on until it got to the 8-year point. I mean, we got the things that we wanted to see from this series. First and foremost, Kokoro having the child finally, and just, oh man, just the love that I end up having for her and Mitsuru becoming, you know, the mama and papa of the new generation. Them finally having a child. It was a little girl by the name of Ai, and I stands for love, and they decided to name her that because love was a forbidden word. It was something that they shouldn't have learned, and they learned about what that is in tenfold from 02 and Hero to themselves. And you know, Kokoro, you know, becoming the mother, and Mitsuru just vowing to be there and being the best father that he can be before that baby came out, and doing everything he can, even though he didn't remember he had that love within her. That was a perfect name for those kids to have, and he's going to be a great husband, and we've seen that he was as time went on. And he made so much progression as a character that, much like Ichigo, it was a point where I was like, fuck this dude, I hate this character. But to see how he's grown, see how everybody grown in this series, everybody just took the progressive steps to be a better person, like Zorome. Zorome, he was still himself, but even though he was still that same kid that we've seen in the series, he grew up to become a fine young man. Him and Miku, it was like when they grew up, it was the same kids that you knew, but at the same time they were adults, and it was just so much better with everything that went on in their lives. And you know, the replacement mama, she got back to her senses. She was no longer brainwashed. She was there to help raise the children and make sure everything was okay with Kokoro until she was born. To see the child born, everybody's emotions, just crying, was great. You know, we didn't lose Akuno. She just actually found a way to extend her life, and she just got older and older. She was almost like the mom of everybody, and she was taking care of everybody, and that was great. Humanity just finally trying to take the pieces and put their lives back together while Hero and Zero 2 were up in space fighting Grim, and they were able to do that and able to grow on their own. And they don't depend on the Klaxosaurs anymore. You know, after the war, the Klaxosaurs fell to Earth, and when they came back to Earth, they decided to become the vegetation that Earth can live off of, and they didn't go off of the magma anymore, so they can live on their own. It was just the little things. Again, every loose end that was there, I feel that they wrapped up nicely with this series. Even with Naomi's back. I mean, it was kind of a Deus Ex, but it was like, hey, she's not dead. All of the kids, and we saw this, but we didn't know what was going on. It was like all the kids that would disappear were just put in the stasis. So we're just gonna let them go, and you know, she's still alive. She got one arm, but hey, she's alive. She got to see everybody else again. She got to grow with everybody. And Goro. Oh my God, Goro, this guy does not get best boy at the Crunchyroll Awards. I am going to rage. I might write Crunchyroll personally because I know somebody from Boku no Hero is going to win, but it really does deserve to be Goro because he decided to do a very Goro thing. You know, he said, you know what? There's more people out there that need my help. I'm going to go out here and find people that need help. I'm going to go out and try to plant crops around the world and just make the world a better place. And him finally claiming Ichigo, giving her that kiss, basically saying, you my girl now, putting the kid in her because she's pregnant at the end of the series. Her having that confidence in him and finally accepting him and loving him too. And you know, I had my ups and downs about Ichigo, but both her and Goro, not Zoro, her and Goro deserve to be happy, and I'm so glad that they were. That was probably the most heartwarming part to me, to see that my boy finally got some happiness, because he was such a good character that I was worried that he was gonna die, but no, he didn't die. He actually got the ultimate goal. You know, he always loved Ichigo. He got her. Now they're gonna have a child too, as the generations just keep going on and on and on, and you know, just kept going with Kokoro from there. Even Nana and Hachi, even Hachi getting in there confessing his love to Nani, like, you know what, we can't age because of everything that we went through, but something is probably going to change with me. And she's like, it already has, look at you. Oh man, I love both of those characters too. Even though they didn't have that much of an impact, they were kind of tools at first. Just once they started to feel that regret for what was going on with what Dr. Franxx was doing, everybody deserved to be happy. And that's just what this series did. They showed everybody happy because these kids went through so much, and they absolutely deserved it. And this is the reasons why I say you can't be mad with this ending, because they gave you everything that you needed. They gave you that smile for everybody at the end. Even though, you know, I wanted to see some darkness, I am 100% okay with how this series ended, because these kids deserve to be happy. They were weapons of war. And they finally found their life. They finally found their love. They finally found their world, and you can't be mad at that. Now, of course, unfortunately, we did lose Zero 2 and Hero. You know, they made that ultimate sacrifice doing what they said they were going to do. They were going to go into the warp gate, take it out, just destroy that bomb. And, you know, all of the souls that Vrem had captured went back, but because their souls, it's not like they can go back to a body. So, yeah, they're just floating around in space, but they're together. They're happy. They have their love for each other. The red and blue Oni finally getting married. You know, the picture book is complete, and even the kids kept the picture book, and they used that book, and now they use Hero and Zero 2 as the characters in that book to tell the kids that it was because of these two that we got to where we were. And you know, even though at the end we got a little bit of symbolism, and it's a finale. Let's get into it. You know, you saw the two kids that one looked like Hero, one looked like Zero Two. So it's not them. It's kind of more of a reincarnation. Maybe it is them. Either way, that's just more things out there to, you know, feed the audience to hope for a season 2. But honestly, I think we'll be stretching it at that point. The way it ended was perfect for me, and I think we can just leave it right there. So, I think the biggest thing was just to see everybody grow up, to see everybody at that point, like, you know, Futoshi, you know, my man's growing up, getting the mustache now, getting his wife and child, becoming a cook with the help of Akuno. Everybody just ended up in a happy place. So I guess that leads me to what I give this series overall. Straight up, I love this series. I'm gonna give it a 10. I gotta be completely honest with you guys and give it a straight up 10 because Darling in the Franxx did so many things that so many other genres are scared of when it comes to love, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to pushing the envelope. I mean, we had characters straight up saying I love you in episode 5. Series usually take a decade for them to get to that point with these characters, and for them to have grown up not to know love or supposed to know what it is, and for all of them to actually come together and see everybody happy, married, grown, it was just nice, and I just like the way it ended overall. And the series has conflicts. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's perfect. I mean, I'm giving it a 10 basically off of personal enjoyment because I would definitely watch it again. I would recommend it to someone who haven't seen it. Just tell them, you know, it's going to be a struggle through those first 3 or 4 episodes, but stick with it, and I think you'll like it. I would probably introduce it to somebody as a mecha series. I mean, mainly because the ending also gave us the closure that we needed. It didn't leave us off on a super open end. It gave us everything that we needed. It wrapped everything up in a nice little bow, and the ending is what probably gave it that extra point. If I didn't enjoy the ending so much, I probably would have gave it a 9, but it gets a 10, and this is going to be one of those series that's going to be talked about, if not for how good it was, for how bad it ended up being, which again, I don't think it was bad. I just think people are just bashing it because their favorite YouTubers are. So there's that. We've talked about that in enough videos, but oh yeah, there's one more thing I want to say. Suck it, Evangelion. And with that being said, we're just gonna go ahead and end it here. So guys, it has been fun. Thank you guys very much for joining me and supporting the channel and watching these videos and everything with Darling and Franxx. I hope this isn't the end of your journey with me. If you just came on and subscribed to me because of my reviews for this, stick around. There's more coming. Let me know your thoughts, comments, concerns, theories, and all that good stuff as we talk about this series one last time in the comments below. Look forward to answering all those, and hey, it's the end of the road, so I thank you guys again. Can't thank you enough. So if you liked the video, go ahead and drop it a like. If you want to hear more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because there's not a shortage of content for you guys to indulge on this channel as we are feet first into a new season. And as I always say, you guys can be anywhere on YouTube right now, but you chose to listen to me. I really appreciate that, so thanks for stopping by. As far as the ride with Trigger, I mean, hey, we'll be back with, I know I'll be back with Gridman coming in the fall. Premiere, whenever that drops, I'll be back for that too. And even with Cloverworks, you know, the people that are mainly the studio that's over this, they're gonna give us Promised Neverland, a series I cover every week here. So yeah, if you're a fan of this studio, it's definitely gonna be more for you to indulge on here. So we're going ahead and get up out of here. So darlings, thank you guys again. It's your boy Scott signing out. See you soon.